Hey everybody, thank you for joining me. Today I'm really excited to bring you an advanced look at an early access game that I think is must play. It's called Terje Haakonsen's Powder VR. Let's jump in and see what you think. Now if you don't know the name Terje Haakonsen, he's a kind of legendary snowboarder who pretty much turned the industry on its head. Now Powder VR focuses on that legacy by giving you the opportunity to take on the slopes in whatever way you see fit. You can choose to go skiing, snowboarding, you can even use wingsuits and jetpacks if you can find them in the explore areas of the game. Now I really enjoyed the snowboarding. I've done a bit of snowboarding in real life and I found the physics to be really good in this game. They're really responsive and they feel lifelike. Now you learn it a lot quicker than you do in real life, and I think that's a good thing, but it came off really good. You sort of feel the adrenaline rush as you're flying down the slopes. Now the game has already started to make a name for itself on the esports scene in VR, and I can tell why. It's really well made. The graphics and textures are quite minimal at this point, and it is in early access, so there's still a lot of work to be done, and I can see how they could advance it, but for me I really enjoyed it. At the minute, the game is available on Steam, so you can go play it on PC VR, but I've spoken to the devs and it's actually planned for a Quest launch at the back end of the year, so keep your eyes peeled for that. It's surprising how fun it is, just sort of bobbing and weaving with the board. You can cut some real tight lines and you can really start to master it after you've had a bit of a play with the game. If you crouch lower, you start to build up speed. When you need to stop, you can sort of turn your board sideways and stand up straight. And when you get very confident, you can start throwing in some tricks. The World Tour mode starts you off in your sort of mountain top tent. You're given a few prompts to learn the controls and then you sort of make your way out onto the slopes. You're greeted by this sort of Texas Ranger looking dude who looks like he'd be more comfortable showing you how to shoot a deer than taking you on the slopes. But he seems like a fun character and I quite like the idea of it. Quirky little addition to the game. So you're quickly off and you're on the slopes. Now the skiing is quite reasonable physics. It feels very different to the snowboarding, but still responsive and quick. You can manoeuvre quite easily. You use your spokes to kind of push yourself around. The game tracks the position of your headset in comparison to the controllers to kind of sense how your balance is and to kind of see which way you're leaning, and that will sort of direct the direction you're travelling in. Again, crouch lower, reduce your wind resistance, and you start picking up speed quickly. It took me a couple of minutes to get used to it and stop bouncing off the walls. And once I did, I felt pretty comfortable and sort of ready to take on the competition in the races. But it comes with a steep learning curve. I blasted through the first few levels with no problems whatsoever. Thought I'd crank it up a gear, jump up to the next level, and I got my arse handed to me constantly as the AI was sort of flying around these courses with no problems at all, nailing tricks, weaving in and out of trees, and I was crashing all over the place. And once you get confident, you start throwing in some tricks. That's when fans of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater will feel right at home. You get the opportunity to land some big air, you get to throw in some big grinds, you have to actually reach down and physically grab your boards to start doing some sort of grab tricks. You can even spin in the air. It's really effective and it feels lifelike. Now the grinds felt a little bit basic, they didn't really require much balance or anything as you're travelling across, it's more of a sort of static motion. But it was really challenging to actually get onto the rail in the first place, so I'm kind of glad they didn't make it too hard by throwing in extra mechanics. When you get into the air and you start throwing in the grab tricks, the game slows down into slow motion. You get some sort of time to play around and do different stuff in the air. It's quite fun and I feel like I've only sort of touched the surface of what you can do. It really took me back to my days as a kid playing SSX Tricky. I can almost hear Run DMC playing in the background. In addition to the free roam modes and the race modes, you've also got the checkpoint modes, which are really good fun. They really challenge your sort of slalom abilities to cut tight lines and get within the checkpoints in time. It's so easy to miss a checkpoint and need to find yourself sort of stumbling back up the hill to get to it, costing yourself loads of time. There's also freestyle modes where you have to try and lay down as many tricks as you can and really rack up the points. I found that one of the most enjoyable parts of the game. I have to say, all in all, it's a very positive experience. It's still early days and it's not out for full release yet, so you do encounter bugs, but you kind of have to come and expect that with a early access game like this. So you kind of brush it off, crack on, and then just hope the developers iron them out in time. I'm certainly going to be keeping a close eye on it to see how things develop over time. I think this could become one of the real big hitters of VR, particularly if they can pull off the planned Quest release. Right, that's Powder VR. We're going to call it there. I don't want to give away all the secrets, and this game is absolutely packed full of them. I've only shown you the tip of the iceberg. Now before you go, don't forget to press that like button and make sure you're subscribed. There's some awesome stuff coming up. I'd love for you to see it. I'll catch you on the next one. Goodbye.